Okay, so everyone, of course, knows today's presentation will be on the best real estate opportunities in Vietnam. We did a similar presentation a couple weeks ago on Thailand and Cambodia. For those that were not able to join for that one, we do have the recording uploaded on YouTube. So feel free to email myself or Joe, and we'll get you that link so you can review it. The recording for this presentation today, we hopefully will have it onto YouTube within a week, and we will share it with everyone that did register for the webinar. So this is a collaboration between hoo.global Consulting and Azura Global. Today's agenda, I'll go over some introduction and some quick announcements, and then we'll go into the main presentation. And then hopefully the slides did make it onto the presentation. We have a strategy for investing, or a quick jump start to invest into global real estate for those that are not ready to do an investment all on your own. So who are we? So hoo.global Consulting and Azura Global. We are basically specializing in global real estate sales and marketing. We do work directly in most cases with the developers and master brokers that basically control new developments in many of the countries we are active in. We do global investment strategy. So if it is a larger investor, investment fund, family office, we do have access to very cool investments. And just to give an idea, some of the ones that are on our desk right now to distribute. In Cambodia, for instance, we have a huge portfolio of 130 luxury condos that will be pretty close to the new airport, new international airport, which will be starting operations next year. It is multi-award-winning development, very long-term, pretty much one of the largest land owners in Cambodia that's developing the project. And that's pretty much will be 25% off of the basically the market asking price, the retail asking price. So for a larger investor, that would be a great opportunity to do value add and slowly basically resell them. We do global real estate financing, case by case, depending on the country it is in. We do lending in the United States as well. So those that want to access cash through their real estate equity to purchase global real estate. That is the easiest way and probably the cheapest way to do that. And we are also involved in US immigration consulting, very different programs depending on what the client wants to do to immigrate to the US. And then we're active in a lot of different countries, but primarily in Asia, Southeast Asia, Latin America, and in Dubai. And these are countries that we have access direct to developers, developments, and in cases of immigration, people that do help with immigration and visas into these countries. So we're happy to help. We're happy to set up introductory calls to figure out what you or your clients would like to do. Some quick announcements. We do have two upcoming trips already planned out as far as the dates. So save the date. For Thailand, we will have a program that will concentrate on Bangkok and Pattaya. This will be for September 1st to 6th. And the way we run the programs is the people that register, whether it's real estate agents that have potential clients, or if it's an actual client, investor, buyer, we basically survey what you guys are interested in. So we basically schedule the showing and project itinerary based on what you guys want to see. So it's not going to be just random projects. They're going to be catered to the group that goes. And then the second one we have on the schedule for later this year in October, October 20th to 27th, so a full week, will be in Mexico, in Cancun and the Riviera Maya. Both of these locations, we do have access to projects that start in Thailand, a little bit under 100,000, and in Mexico, about 100,000. We do have some projects as well. All of these locations make great vacation homes or great investment properties, whether it's going to be for a short-term rental, a mid-term rental, or a long-term rental. And of course, for those that are basically thinking of retiring or part-time living in any of these countries, these all are very cheap countries basically for lifestyle. So just sharing some photos. So again, I'm in France right now. So we're in Nice, which is one of the largest cities in the French Riviera. And we had pho today. So everyone knows pho is one of the main culinary dishes in Vietnam. And there's my iced Vietnamese coffee, which did not taste quite correct, but it was the closest thing we could find to that. So just wanted to share that. And then before we begin the presentation, I think Yoshi is on the call. Wanted to introduce Yoshi, and if he wanted to share some quick words with the group. Yoshi is the NAR Global Ambassador. NAR is National Association of Realtors, and they do have bilateral partnerships with pretty much over 81 countries, I believe, and 100 plus different associations in those countries. Yoshi, are you there?
Hi, Spencer. Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
Yep. And then if you wanted to share some quick words with the group.
I don't have much, but we have an upcoming event in coming up in Malaysia. That's September 6, 7, 8, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So you are more than welcome to join. All the information is on our website, right?
Perfect. So everyone that is interested in that, that is the IREC, International Real Estate Conference. And our team will be attending that as well. So just watch for upcoming information. Or as Yoshi mentioned, it is published on NAR's website, I believe, and then on the host website, which is MIEA, which is the Malaysia Association. So with that, I'm going to stop my share. And Joe, if you are there, if you could share your screen, stage is all yours.
All right, good morning, everyone. Spencer, I can't share screen yet.
Oh, okay. Let me see. I think I need to make you a co-host. Okay, try it now.
All right. Happy belated 4th, by the way. Hey, I'm in. All right. I'm going to go through this text about half an hour, and then we're going to do Q&A afterward. All right. Welcome, everyone. Spencer, thank you for the opportunity to put this together and have us share this slide deck with you. It's an exciting time for us, especially for people who are interested in investments outside of the U.S. I'm going to go through about 20 slides here, and during those slides, if you have any questions, you just go ahead and put in the chat box. Spencer, can you monitor the chat box? I'm going to jump in and ask questions or answer questions. We'll do a Q&A at the end as well.
Perfect.
Spencer's already made the introduction. Joseph Lamb, if you haven't known me, I'm with Azura Global, and I travel to Southeast Asia every 3 months or so. So therefore, we have a lot of updated information from Southeast Asia area. Okay, a little bit of geography. If you haven't been, look at the map lately, haven't been, Vietnam is in the middle of the Southeast Asia area. Very important area, particularly in the waterway there. The waterway there, South China Sea, is about 33% of the world global trade, and Vietnam has a huge amount of coverage in the South China Seas. Location-wise, is next to China, which is also an important factor. Obviously, there's a lot of migrations from manufacturing from China outbound, and Vietnam is second destination as far as the benefits of the migration of the manufacturing. We have Taipei there, as you can see, or Taiwan, if you will. And there's a lot of Taiwan manufacturing facilities are now coming to Vietnam, such as Samsung and so forth. All right, so why consider Vietnam as one of your potential investment? It is one of the fastest GDP growth in the region. It's number 15 most populous country in the world with over 100 million population. It is right around the Philippine size at this moment. Fairly young workforce. 50% of workforce are in the age of around 30. And the tourism is obviously behind Thailand and Japan, but it is picking up steam quite a bit. And last but not least, I mentioned the geography is very important in the world trade. So therefore, Vietnam is extremely important. Also in the political tension that we see in the world today, Vietnam plays an important role. GDP on the map here, as you can see, it's 2023, they're surpassing 6%. And even during COVID, they've never gone negative. As a matter of fact, they've been trending above 5% for the past 10 years. So it's one of the strongest economies that we have in the world today. Economics compared to the region, the growth is ranking #1 in the region again, just above Philippines. And then as you can see, places like Singapore, the growth is stagnant because they already saturated their growth. There's no more room to grow there. Vietnam still has tremendous opportunity. And whatever you have growth opportunity, you have job growth. Job growth means there's going to be higher demands on real estate, and inherently the prices will continue to go up. This is an interesting slide. I don't want to go through all the details as far as what it is, but if you look on the lower left column, the happiness level of the expats globally runs 72%, just an average happiness level. Vietnam's 85%, means that people tend to be happier when they settle in Vietnam. And we have a couple of people on the call today, which I'll get their opinion, of course, once you get in. We got Jason, Reese, and so forth. They spend a fairly good amount in Vietnam, and they'll share with you their feelings from an expat point of view. Cost of living. This is always an important factor to consider, an area to invest in, whether you're in the US and you decide to, people migrate from California or New York down to Texas, Florida. Obviously, cost of living is lower, so therefore they're moving there. Well, Vietnam is very much the same. The cost of living is extremely affordable. And there's a couple of reasons why people are moving there. Obviously, second home, vacation destination. A lot less expensive than if you were to go to Hawaii, a lot less expensive if you go to Thailand. Second home to live. People are finding that it's better to have a second home somewhere in Southeast Asia. It's much safer, it's much more affordable. And last but not least, there's a lot of retirees that potentially looking to have their retirement there. $1 is equal to roughly 25,000 Vietnam dong. The numbers will scare you because it's quite a bit of large number. However, if you understand about it, it should make it pretty simple. We'll show you a couple of cost of living here in the next slide. Okay. So Ho Chi Minh City is the biggest city in Vietnam. It is over 10 million people. So it is a major metropolitan area. You can actually rent an apartment, a one-bedroom apartment there, range anywhere from $500 to $1,000. $1,000 would consider a luxury apartment that would compare to something like downtown LA. Okay, cell phone average $20 to $30 a month. Food costs, assuming that you don't cook a lot, so forth, you eat outside and you eat obviously local restaurants, so forth, should be around $300. Okay, transportation. Obviously, in there, most people who use they would use mopeds as their major way of transportation. However, with newer tours and so forth, we don't recommend that. Uber is extremely cheap. They actually use service called Grab, which is similar to Uber, and most runs right around $5 per trip. So around $300 a month, you can have your entire transportation. So based on this number, as you can see, someone can manage to live in less than $1,500 a month, which is quite inexpensive for a major city. Okay. Foreigners, entry permits or visa. Vietnam government just extended the entry permits to 180 days. It used to be 60 days. It was extended in June to 180 days. So that is very convenient. Now, the question is, what happens if you live more than 180 days? It's quite simple. You jump over the border or take a day trip to Thailand, come right back in, your 180 days start again. Okay. If you happen to be Vietnam born, but obviously are not Vietnamese now because you may have US visa, you can apply for a 5 years extended visa, which in the case that I have here. So if you have your clients that are Vietnam born, but are not US, I'm sorry, that are not Vietnam citizen now, they can apply for these 5 years. Land rights. This is always important when you buy properties outside of the US. Most countries will have some limitation on foreigners that own land. That is true for many countries like Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, even as close to us as Mexico. So in Vietnam, the land are technically speaking owned by the government. There's no such thing as someone who owns the land outright. However, the government is matching the land, but they're entitled that to a particular user. So if you're a Vietnamese, if you're a Vietnam citizen, you can own that indefinitely. If you are a foreigner, you can own that up to 50 years each time. You can renew that 50-year one time, means you now can own it up to 100 years. So what happens means is that you cannot extend that past 100 years. Obviously, most of us don't live 100 years. So as long as we transfer the right before we pass, or if you can sell that outright, then that would be fine. You just cannot keep it more than 2 of the 50 years period. Taxation is an important factor when you decide to invest. On real estate resale, unlike here where we have capital gain tax, they have what I call a transfer tax, and it is 2% every time you transfer. So for example, if I was to own a condo now, and if I have the 49 years, whenever I request the 49 years, actually 49 years, not 50 years, by the way, when I request the second extension, I would have to pay a 2% flat tax of whatever the valuation at that time. Or if I decide to sell it before that 49 years over, I would then I would then pay the 2% transfer tax as well. If you do Airbnb or rental, you will pay what I call VAX tax, which is 5%, and then a 10%, so a total of 15%. A bit of a map of Vietnam. It looks like California, you can imagine. Hanoi is north. In the center is Da Nang, and in the south is Saigon, are the 3 major cities. For newer investors, we do recommend that you look at Da Nang and Saigon rather than Hanoi. Hanoi is extremely populous city. It's extremely expensive as well, and it is very hard to live. So therefore, we recommend you look at Da Nang and Saigon as the alternative when you first invest into Vietnam. So the city of Da Nang is one of my favorite cities. In fact, it's maybe the top of the list. It is built very modern. It is exactly like what you find in city of Miami, for example. Has a lot of wide roads, beautiful beaches, so forth. And again, being modern is important because when you go to Asia, if you have been to Asia, you know it's very crowded and so forth. Da Nang is not. It's very much like any U.S. cities that you will see. Beautiful sceneries. Perhaps have one of the best beaches in the world. In fact, I'm a little bit biased on that, but as you can see, it's similar to what you'll find in any major beach cities like Cancun and so forth. It does have a couple of tourist destinations. To the left of you is called Bana Hills, which is again very popular, and it does have the Hoi An ancient city. We are presenting a couple of sample projects. We're not going to cover too many of things of projects today, but here's a sample project. It is called the Fillmore, which is right on the inlet of, it's not the ocean. As you can see, the ocean is on the far end. So this is the inlet of what they call the river here, actually, but it's basically the ocean inlet. Okay. Probably, I would rank this as a 5-star. It is being managed by a 5-star hotel chain. Okay, this is some of the renderings that in fact, we visited this one last year when we were there. And currently, they are selling. Let me go to one slide first. Currently, these are the availabilities. The 1 bedroom runs about 51 meters square. And if you are not familiar with meter square, 1 meter square is approximately 10.8 square feet. So 51 meters square is roughly 600 square feet. They are running in the 5.4 billion. Again, I'm going to help you with the dollars here. That is roughly a little bit over $200,000 US. Okay, so obviously 100,000 US is 2.5 billion. 5 billion is 200, and as you can see, it's a little bit over that. So it's a little bit over $200,000 for you to buy a condo with beautiful view, 5-star. This, if you place this in a city like Miami, it'll be at least $1 million. So you're talking about a 5 times the value that you can buy in Da Nang compared to cities like Miami. 2 bedrooms, 70 meters square, or approximately 800 square feet. Is approximately $8.3 billion, which is roughly 300,000, a little bit over $300,000. Go back on the slide before. There's no financing particularly for foreigners out there yet. In fact, that's something that we're working on, but I doubt it's going to come anytime soon. In the meantime, they have a pretty good payment structure. As you can see here, if you want to enter the contract with the builder, you would then put a first 10% down. 2 months later is 20%. And then as you can see, the payment schedule subsequent every 2 months or 3 months spread. You either pay 5% or 10% until it is paid towards the end. So roughly about 2 years, you can actually make installments to pay this. And that's typically how most foreigners are purchasing there. Now, if you want to pay with cash, which obviously if you have cash that you can pull out on a HELOC here, you should do that because you would get immediate 5% discount if you pay up front. We have the second city, which is Vũng Tàu. Vũng Tàu is the city closest to Ho Chi Minh City, which is the major city that I mentioned. Ho Chi Minh City has about 10 to 12 million people. So Vũng Tàu is a resort city, which most of the city people going out there on the weekend. So it is a very popular destination. There's a development nearby called Ho Chang, which is again very popular destination. And it is about 2 hours drive from Ho Chi Minh City. Okay. The project called Azura, and it is almost done selling. However, they still have some inventory left. So this is a very, this one's going to go quick. Okay. Again, beautiful design managed by top management company. These are this is the payment. Installments are pretty similar to the installments that I mentioned in the previous slides with Da Nang. All right, these are some of the inventories that are left. The smaller one, 51 meters square, which again, roughly about 600 square feet, runs in the high 3 billion, or roughly a little bit over $100,000. And then they'll go all the way up to $6 billion, which is the 2 bedrooms. And that's roughly a little bit over $200,000. So again, about $150,000 you can buy 1 bedroom. Around 200,000 you can consider looking at a 2 bedrooms for this complex. Okay. Management. Typically, there are 2 ways to do this. You can actually manage yourself, obviously, if you decide to do a second home. Or most builders will offer you a management, and typically they're split at 60-40. So it's a little bit high, but they definitely will manage it very well. And you will have access 2 weeks a year if you decide to have the builders manage for you. Some builder may offer the first period, 3 to 5 years, with a guaranteed returns, 6 to 8%. Obviously, the demands for certain projects will eliminate this. If you find that builders are guaranteeing 6 to 8%, it may be a little bit slower sales. So it's a give and take, right? We do have foot on the ground in both Da Nang and Ho Chi Minh. So if you decide to purchase and keep it for yourself, meaning you don't want anyone else to manage because you want to access a little bit more than 2 weeks, we can help you to manage it. We do split a 30% revenue with you. Okay. Again, almost like if you would retain somebody to manage an Airbnb for you. All right. All right, so that is the summary of our slides today. We are open for questions and answers.
Okay, so while we're waiting for some questions, I did want to mention that I did visit the Ishwara project. I believe this was end of last year. And yes, it is one of the closest locations to Ho Chi Minh City. It is on the beach, so everyone that does like the beach, beautiful location, beautiful views. The Ashore project is in a very large master plan, and part of that master plan is an intercontinental hotel. So everyone knows intercontinental, very, very high-end, very pricey. And then the other hotel that's part of the master plan is a Holiday Inn, which Holiday Inn everywhere outside of US is considered kind of upper middle level. So they are higher brands over there. Do we have any questions?
So you want to share the concept that you were thinking about? Wow.
Yeah, let me see if I can open that over here. One moment.
Do I need to send back the host for you to?
Oh no, I'm still host, so it should be okay. But I need to see how to move this file over since I sent it with a different device. Let's see. Or if you're on a device that can open and share it, that might work also. Set. Yeah, I can't open it right now, but the concept basically would be using a fractional ownership program or setup. And basically anyone that is interested in global real estate, this would be a great entry-level method to invest in global real estate, both to leverage your purchase power and secondly, to leverage kind of the risk or the potential risk that would be involved. And everyone basically would share as far as the potential returns, or if they wanted to use the property for their allotment, they can basically waive the prorated returns. So for the example, and unfortunately we don't have the slides, so we'll go ahead and send the slides out as well, so you guys can see how it's laid out. But on the example of using $100,000 purchase, and we split that into 10 fractional owners. Each fractional owner basically would go in at $10,000. So $10,000, of course, would be a lot more easier for a lot of investors to invest than the full 100,000 if they're not comfortable or ready to do a full investment yet. And they can either use that for 10% of the net earnings based on basically the accounting period, which is usually done per quarter. Or they can basically waive that as mentioned, and they would get 4 weeks of usage per year. So 4 weeks of non-peak usage. So definitely that is a great method to get into real estate. They would get direct title as a member of the LLC ownership that basically is vesting in the property. And when the property sells, all the net proceeds would, of course, be split evenly among the fractional owners. And when we say fractional share, it doesn't mean that you can only have one of the fractional shares. You could have more than one of the fractional shares. So definitely this is an opportunity for someone that is interested and wants to get in a little bit sooner, see how everything works before they jump into any of their own direct property ownership or purchases. And as mentioned, we do have access in multiple countries. Most of these countries, we can get access to pretty much luxury condos. These will be studios or one-bedroom units, and they will be anywhere from 100,000 to 200,000. So as mentioned, this is a huge discount compared to purchasing anything in the United States that is either in an equivalent location or a equivalent kind of a project. So basically a high-rise luxury condo development, which would offer pretty much 5-star level hotel type amenities. So definitely anyone that is interested, whether it's yourself or you have clients that are not quite ready to jump into a full investment on their own or a full purchase on their own, this is an option. And we are available, of course, to assist, of course, for any other projects that they would want to purchase directly. If you are a real estate professional, and I do see many real estate professionals on the call, we do offer a broker co-op program. So we do pay out either as a referral or a straight broker co-op, depending if we're working with the developer directly or with the master broker. So we are happy to start working in partnership with you, depending what you and your clients' needs are. Again, we do have the 2 trips coming up. So one in September for Thailand and one in October for Mexico. Anyone that is interested in Vietnam or Cambodia, we will be in the area in September. So we are happy to set up and meet with you guys to show you around those locations as well. Do we have any other questions or comments before we get ready to finish up?
So the monthly on it's a 2-bedroom, 1 and 2 bedrooms, right?
Yes, the majority of the developments have 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. We did not showcase any 3 because obviously we wanted to keep the prices in that ballpark of $200,000. The 3 units will probably run you around $400,000.
Okay. The 3-bedroom.
Yes.
Okay, and then you rent it out, and just like, hey guys, I'm just, I'm just, but yeah, okay, sounds great. So 400,000, and then the monthly, what is that?
Typical management fee for these runs relatively inexpensive in the $100 to $200 per month. Depends on
you
1, 2,
you rent it
bedrooms.
out too.
To rent it out, you can actually rent these out for a pretty decent price. Currently, my condo, which is in Da Nang, is priced in at $102 a night.
Wow.
And that's a 1-bedroom beachfront.
Oh my goodness. Woo. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep, definitely great opportunities out there, Tom. You need to get
actually,
out and take a look.
we will have a little bit more time. Maybe have the 2 expats on this call, Jason and Reese, want to chime in a little bit. Jason, want to go first, and then Reese. You guys frequent Vietnam and obviously understand the culture. Just want to get your feedback on what the lifestyle is like. Jason, want to go first, and then Reese.
Sure. Yeah. One thing that attracts me to Southeast Asia, Cambodia, Thailand, and Vietnam is the well, number one is obviously cost of living. We can pretty much, if you want to live, solo traveler, you can live for 1,000, and if you want to live luxuriously, it could go up to 5,000. So it depends on how you want to live daily life. But the one thing that attracts me Southeast Asia is property tax. California, we pay a huge amount of property tax. Southeast Asia, you pay what they call assessment tax. So it also depends on how much how big the place is, but you're looking at, $1,500 to $2,000 a year. It's not even a month. Water bill is $30-$40, electricity, and that's pretty much about it. I mean, the cost of owning properties like this, you're looking at, those are the three major costs that you got to factor in, other than living. So we've got properties in Pattaya, which when I go there, I don't have to pay. I don't pay hotel rooms. So if I live there for a month, you're looking at $3,000 that you have to pay on hotel rooms. So if you have a property there, you just save $3,000. That's how I see it. So I'm a numbers game. I'm a numbers guy. So for me, that's kind of I'm always looking at costs, and for me, that is a huge cost of living that I can live with. Uh, 2,000 a month versus California, you're looking at 10-20,000 a month just to live in California. So hopefully I'm working on trying to move out there more. So Reese?
Hold on. Yeah, so a little bit different. I'm gonna look at it from a cultural perspective. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what it's like to live out in Thailand or Vietnam. And I would tell you that I probably am in Vietnam half of the year. I actually live in Hanoi. I have a 2-bedroom apartment there overlooking the lake on the 37th floor, and it's $600 a month for that. And that is like the luxury part of Hanoi. And you heard from Joe earlier saying that Hanoi is more expensive than anything else. The curiosity to go and see all these wonders of the world, Halong Bay, Da Nang is spectacular. I also like to go up in the mountains. Sapa is an amazing place too, spiritual. But the thing that attracts me the most to Vietnam is the people. They are the friendliest, nicest people. They're always there to help. I also love the food. And for example, Hanoi, the city of Hanoi, every weekend, they close down the roads and little kids are playing in little cars. And you just feel there's a huge family life, something that we've gone away from a little bit here in the United States. So I would tell you that my first trip ever to Asia was last May. And since then, I've been in the United States maybe 2 months. And I will be leaving again on the 8th and will not be back until August 17th before leaving again at the end of August to meet Spencer and everybody in Vietnam and Cambodia. It is beautiful again. The people are wonderful. And if you haven't experienced it, I promise you the first time you go, you won't want to come back.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing your opinions, Jason and Reese. Do we have anyone else that wants to share or has any questions? Okay, looks pretty quiet. So everyone, thank you again for taking your time on a Friday, and especially right after 4th of July to join us. I know not everyone that registered was able to join today, but everyone will get a link to the recording once it's up. We will continue to schedule these programs. So whether it's Southeast Asia, Latin America, or other locations that we are focusing on, we will have informational sessions like this. and we will start to schedule developers and master brokers to present actual projects as well. So anyone that is interested in specific projects and more detailed questions, we will have the actual sources with us for that. And with that, everyone have a great rest of their Friday and a great weekend. And any questions, of course, feel free to email myself or Joe. We're happy to discuss or set up calls with you guys, or if you guys have comments for things you would like to see in upcoming programs, we're happy to consider that as well. Okay, perfect. Everyone, bye.